Hi, I'm Tariq.
And I'm Sofia.
Welcome to another deep dive.
Today, we're really digging into a pretty fascinating landscape, global mobility. You know, what's driving individuals and families to look beyond their home country, and what kind of, strategies are out there to meet that demand?
That's a great question. Have you ever thought about what it really means, to have that global mobility today in this world that's so connected, but also, frankly, a bit uncertain sometimes? Moving past the limits of just one passport, securing your future, finding those international opportunities. It's something a lot of people are thinking about.
Definitely. And our mission here really is to unpack how different advisory firms, the ones highlighted in our sources, actually tackle this. It's complex stuff.
It is.
We're focusing on those, comprehensive, tailored strategies they use, expert guidance, legally solid pathways to maybe a second residency or citizenship, or even expanding a business internationally.
Exactly. And the sources we've looked at give a really in-depth view of this sort of holistic approach, the services offered by some of the leading players, and really the philosophy behind it all. It's about figuring out how to navigate a future where borders maybe don't feel quite so absolute.
Okay, so let's start with the why. Our sources talk a lot about the motivations, right? What pushes people to seek that second residency or citizenship? What are the big factors?
Well, it's really, it's multifaceted. The sources definitely point to a big push from people trying to get away from political or, economic instability.
Right.
Especially if they're from regions maybe experiencing more volatility or where their passport doesn't get them very far. They're looking for a plan B, basically, a sense of security beyond their current situation.
But it's not always about escaping something, is it? I mean, many are also looking strategically at, business expansion.
Exactly. Or optimizing tax strategies.
Or just ensuring that long-term security for their family, maybe a better quality of life. One article called it building an optionality platform.
Optionality platform, I like that.
Yeah, like diversifying your options, giving yourself peace of mind, no matter what happens globally.
And it's interesting how the core mission of firms like ChapterTwo, which pops up in one source, directly addresses all these different reasons. This source describes them as a premier global advisory firm, for citizenship, residency, business expansion. Their aim is to redefine global mobility and help people and companies transcend limitations, shape a truly borderless world. It really taps into that desire for global options.
It does, and the source also highlights what makes them different. It seems grounded in legal precision, integrity, years of immigration law, even civil litigation experience.
Right, so making sure everything's legally sound, minimizing risks.
Yeah, and they emphasize tailored solutions, too. Client-centric, making sure immigration and business needs actually line up with the long-term picture.
They also mention that seamless integration of business and residency, offering services to help set up or expand businesses internationally, tax optimization, market entry, the works. Our sources suggest this integrated approach is becoming more common.
So it's not just about the visa, it's about the whole setup.
Exactly. And having that global perspective, experience across different industries, different continents, and ultimately being results-driven, getting outcomes that actually expand horizons for clients.
Credibility is obviously huge here. One document we looked at talks about firms with really strong track records, high approval rates for citizenship and residency, often backed by decades of global experience.
Yeah, ChapterTwo, for instance, the source mentions a 99.9% approval rate.
Yeah.
And that's supported by 30 years of global affiliate experience.
Yeah.
Numbers like that suggest they're doing something right in terms of preparation and legal know-how.
Definitely speaks to meticulous work.
And the source goes into their founders a bit. Tariq, the legal director, specializes in investment migration, international business structuring, background in immigration law, civil litigation, even represented clients before Canada's federal court.
Right.
Her own immigration journey apparently inspired her.
That personal connection often comes up, doesn't it? Makes sense. And Marwan Ghazal, the managing director.
Right, over 12 years in international marketing, brand growth. Deep expertise in global markets. The source notes his focus is really on aligning those business solutions with immigration goals, helping clients set up shop and get residency or citizenship abroad.
And like Sadaf, his personal journey is mentioned as a motivator. That kind of passion probably builds a lot of trust with clients dealing with these big life changes.
It's that deep understanding, I think, that lets firms guide clients beyond just thinking about, one passport.
Right.
Our sources show that a really key first step is properly assessing the individual's needs, mobility needs, risks, long-term lifestyle plans. Not just pointing to some off-the-shelf program. It's more like creating a blueprint.
So how do they actually do that mapping? Using data and legal frameworks to find the best routes. It seems to start with mobility, travel freedom.
Yeah, exactly. For example, a Caribbean option like Dominica's Citizenship by Investment, the CBI program. That comes up a lot in the sources.
Visa-free travel to, over 140 countries, including the UK and Schengen?
Yeah, and crucially, no physical residency requirement to keep the citizenship. Plus, big tax benefits, no wealth, gift, inheritance, foreign income, or capital gains tax. And it's relatively quick, usually 4 to 6 months processing.
Okay, that sounds pretty good on paper, but I guess there are nuances.
Well, some sources do caution that these no physical residency programs are facing more international scrutiny, especially around due diligence. And tax treaties could change, impacting long-term benefits. It's something to watch.
Okay, so contrast that with something like Canada's Startup Visa program, the SUVP.
Right. Discussed as a pathway to permanent residency. Gives you visa-free access to over 185 countries. Canada's passport ranks pretty high globally, 7th, I think the source said. So very different paths, but both offer huge mobility gains.
And the investment side must be quite different too.
Oh, definitely. The sources detail that. Dominica's CBI starts around $200,000 USD. Canada's SUVP, technically, has no minimum investment set by the program itself. But you need a viable business idea backed by a designated organization. So realistically, for, say, a high net worth individual wanting that travel access and maybe planning to live abroad, sources suggest a business investment package around $240,000 CAD might be typical for a strong application.
Got it. And residency requirements, that's another big difference.
Huge. Caribbean CBIs, or even the UAE Golden Visa, often no need for continuous physical presence to keep the status. Though for the Golden Visa, you do have to pop into the UAE at least once every 180 days. But Canada. Clear physical presence, rules to maintain permanent residency, and eventually get citizenship. You have to be physically in Canada for a certain amount of time within a 5-year period. Understanding these details is vital.
So this whole tailored approach, combining different factors, is especially good for certain groups, like entrepreneurs, high net worth individuals, families looking long-term.
Exactly. That's what the sources emphasize. It's not about finding one magic bullet solution. It's about building a portfolio of options, really.
Which leads nicely into structuring maybe second or even third passports across different regions.
Yeah, the sources get into that. Imagine combining, say, a Caribbean CBI with an EU residency by investment in RBI and maybe UAE residency on top. That gives you an incredibly flexible and secure setup. That kind of multi-jurisdictional strategy is presented as like the top tier of global mobility planning.
Wow, but the complexity there must be significant. What about things like legal compliance, tax optimization?
Absolutely key. Firms in this space, according to our sources, put a huge focus on making sure everything is legally compliant across all jurisdictions. And at the same time, figuring out how to minimize the client's global tax exposure.
Do the sources give examples of those tax differences?
They do.
Oh.
Like the UAE tax-free personal income. For businesses in free zones, it's 0% corporate tax on qualifying income up to AED 375,000, then 9% above that.
Okay.
Compare that to Canada, where residents generally pay tax on their worldwide income. Or Portugal's non-habitual resident program NHR, which can offer tax breaks on foreign income for 10 years. Big differences depending on your profile and where you land.
So understanding that is critical. And these strategies aren't just about tax, right? They optimize for lifestyle too.
Yeah, ease of travel, access to different investment markets, securing things for the next generation. For instance, Grenada's citizenship often gets highlighted because it makes you eligible for the US E2 investor visa.
Ah, that's a big one for business access to the US.
Exactly. And throughout all this complexity, discretion and confidentiality are stressed as being absolutely paramount. Trust is everything when you're handling such sensitive personal and financial information.
Which brings us back to the bespoke consultations these firms offer.
Right. Every client's situation, their story, it's unique. So the sources really hammer home the need for highly personalized solutions. No one-size-fits-all approach works here.
And what do those bespoke consultations typically involve?
Well, it usually starts with deep one-on-one advisory sessions, really getting to grips with the client's goals, then coordinating all the cross-border tax and legal stuff, using their expertise in corporate structuring, tax services like setting up a company in the UAE, handling VAT or corporate tax registration.
So the nitty-gritty legal and financial side.
Yeah, but also the practical side. Comprehensive support with the actual relocation, figuring out education, comparing Canada's public schools to the UAE's international schools, for example. Healthcare options, too. Navigating provincial systems versus private care.
Family planning, like bringing dependents.
Making sure spouses, kids up to certain ages, usually even parents or grandparents, can be included under the chosen programs. And the forces mentioned, this is all typically supported by a network of vetted global partners. Lawyers, accountants, real estate agents, etc.
Okay, so let's walk through what that client journey might actually look like with a firm like ChapterTwo. Based on the materials, they talk about an end-to-end service.
Yeah, from the very first chat right through to support after you get your citizenship or residency. One source called it zero-stress guidance, which sounds nice. Emphasis on transparency all the way.
How is it structured? Are there clear phases?
Generally, yes. Phase 1 is often pre-approval and preparation. That means filling out internal forms so the firm can check eligibility, getting a detailed document checklist, and doing a security pre-approval. Basically, vetting you before the official application goes in.
Smart. Minimizes surprises later.
Exactly. Sets a strong foundation. Then phase 2 may be called prepare or company formation. That's gathering all the docs, filling out the government forms, paying the fees. And if it's a business route, this is where the company registration happens, deciding between free zone or mainland in the UAE, for instance, which the sources say is a critical choice.
Okay, makes sense. And then phase 3.
Submit and attain visa. That's the big one. Submitting the application, going through the official due diligence background checks, checking the source of funds.
Right, the financial verification.
Yeah. Biometrics collection, waiting for government approval, and then finally getting that naturalization certificate, passport, or visa in hand. The sources really highlight a proactive approach here, aiming to get applications primed for approval, not just submitted, hopefully, using legal expertise to leave less room for interpretation by officials.
And you mentioned value-added services, like banking.
Yeah, banking assistance, PRO services, that's public relations officer stuff, basically handling government paperwork and liaison things that support clients well beyond just the immigration paperwork itself. Makes the whole transition smoother.
So wrapping up our deep dive today, it's clear that strategic services in global mobility are going way beyond just processing an application. It's really about comprehensive, multi-layered planning now.
Definitely. Addressing complex needs for individuals, families, businesses.
So here's a thought. If this kind of strategic planning can literally redefine personal and business freedom for individuals, what does it mean for our collective future if we start to embrace a truly, well, more borderless world?
That's a big question to ponder. We hope thinking about these deeper insights might shape how you, our listeners, consider your own international opportunities and future plans.